Hey everybody, let me put on my glasses so I can make sure I can see the questions. Hey everybody, I checked. Let me check one more time. Last week we had some technical difficulties, so it didn't actually show up live on. Okay, yeah, I'm on. It didn't actually show up live on LinkedIn last time, so my apologies, but I just checked to make sure that. And S. Jackson says, hi. Hi, thank you for letting me know you can hear me. But I did play the recording. So for those of you who missed it on YouTube and Facebook was live. Then I did post the recording for the Q&A for last Monday. So hopefully you were able to grab that. But I double checked. We should be all good. You should be able to hear me on LinkedIn. I see S. Jackson is on YouTube. So everybody that's on LinkedIn or anybody that's on LinkedIn that's listening, please comment in the chat and let me know that you're here so I can make sure that my LinkedIn people can actually hear me and see me this time live. I want to avoid. Okay. Hi, Artie. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. So for those of you that don't know, for the past what is this 14 day, this is the 14th day, so the past 13 days I've been going live every day and discussing an inspiring CRA problem every single day. So I'm going to do that throughout the month of November, and today we're on day number 14. So I wanted to cover day number 14 before we hopped into the questions. And I see Hamid. Hi. Everybody let me know that where you're joining us from. And hi. I see everybody saying hi. I can hear you, Willisha, Adriana. Thank you so much for letting me know. And let me know where you're joining us from. And then also your current roles, your current titles, and how many years of experience or months or weeks, whatever it is that you have. That would be great to know. So I can, figure out how to tailor the content to you for you guys. But so jumping back into 30 over 30, we're on day number 14. And if you've missed any of the other ones, that's fine. You can look at the recording so you can know exactly what I'm talking about today. But today we're going to keep going with LinkedIn. The past few days we've been covering LinkedIn and how it's your best marketing asset. So today we're going to continue with LinkedIn and talk about the about section. So the problem that I see with most people, myself included at one point, was that our about section, which is that summary section, that section that is like right below where your banner, your name, your headline, all that stuff is, that it's blank. It's completely blank, or it's just some type of tagline, which is like a brief statement or a brief list of jobs or skills. And thank you, Alicia. I see you're in Charlotte. You're very close to me. Clinical research specialist, 9 months. That's a really great role. So you are in a great position to transition into CRA. And then let me get back. I saw that. I got a little bit distracted. But and then I see Artie, you're in North Carolina. You recently joined the CRA role. Congratulations on your new role. A lot of people apparently are in North Carolina. But the solution to this problem is that you need a strong summary In this about section, you need a strong summary telling your unique clinical research professional story. That's it. Simple, right? Of course, some of y'all are probably thinking, well, it's easier said than done, Jasmyn, but that's okay. Hang in there with me. I'm going to get to that. So, you need a strong summary that's telling your unique clinical research professional story. So, why am I even talking about this? How is this relevant to you landing your first CRA job? Why does this even matter, right? Again, going back to the fact that LinkedIn is your best marketing asset. So essentially, it's like a free ad. Imagine or think about all the ads that pop up when you're on YouTube or when you're browsing the web on Google or even on a clothing website, a blog. Think about the ads that pop up. Well, essentially, this is kind of like free ad space where you can essentially sell yourself and throw your pitch. Why should they hire you? So it's an opportunity to tell companies why you would be a great CRA, why they should hire you specifically to work with their company because you would be a great CRA. It's free ad space. And it's also free space because it's like the only section where you have like a lot of characters where you don't have like these restrictions or limitations in terms of what they want you to put in the field, for example, like dates. So it's free space for you to truly paint a picture of who you are and why you want to be a CRA. And you see, I've underlined paint because that's what you want to think about when you're telling your story. It's not just about throwing out facts. That's not it. What's the saying that they always say in marketing? Facts tell, but stories sell. And the whole goal, remember, is for us to sell. We're selling, we're branding, marketing, and selling ourselves. So you want to paint this picture, this beautiful picture of why you would make a great CRA and why they specifically want to bring you in to work for them as their new CRA. And then also, it's one of the first things that pops up when people come to your page. So above the fold, meaning that it's the thing that pops up and you don't have to scroll down to see anything else. The first part of your about section, it meets that criteria. So that, along with the few things we've talked about the last few days, which is your banner, your profile picture, your headline, the top of your about section, that's going to pop up too without people scrolling. And then it helps strengthen your searchability. So I talked about this I think yesterday, the day before, and how when recruiters, hiring managers, companies, when they're looking for potential candidates, they put in keywords in the search field. And the about section is one of those sections where the LinkedIn algorithm will pull information to either put you up on this list when they're searching for candidates, and then not only put you on this list, but either put you at the top of the list or at the bottom of the list. And then also, it's essentially prime virtual real estate because, like I said, it's the section with the most characters, like about 2,000 characters, which is about like 303 to 350 words. So it's like this ideal space for you to really show the world who you are, what you represent, why you should be a CRA. So again, okay, Jasmyn, we keep talking about this. Easier said than done. So how am I supposed to do that? Well, here's some key points to keep in mind when you are writing your summary, your about section. So at the beginning, you always want a strong attention grabber. Keep in mind that you want to use industry-specific searchable keywords. So when I say searchable, meaning that they're going to be looking for terms like potentially like aspiring CRA, if you're a study coordinator, if you're a clinical trial assistant, if you're a clinical research specialist, they're going to be looking for terms like that. So you want to incorporate those terms. Yes, you might have, I don't know, Microsoft Word and Excel experience, but they're most likely not going to be looking for those types of keywords, those terms. You want to insert some of your personality. Don't think like, oh, I have to be professional, so I can't showcase who I really am. That's a part of your brand. And being yourself is going to get you further. I know a lot of people sometimes think that they have to roll it in, especially if your personality is a little bit more extroverted. No, you really want to focus on being yourself. And then it's okay to use emojis. I actually recommend using emojis. Just don't overdo it, right? Every single line, we don't need to see emojis. So emojis that represent you and your personality. You want to add context to your clinical research professional story. So going back to painting a picture, and you want to Also, brag about your accomplishments. This is the time to brag, y'all. A lot of people, especially women, we're kind of trained and raised and taught and been bred in this culture that bragging is a bad thing, but absolutely not. How else are people going to know why they should hire you, what you bring to the table? This is the time to brag. And you want to use as many characters of the 2000 that I mentioned, the limit that they have. You want to try to use as many of those as possible, if not all of them. And then you want to keep it easy on the eyes. It's a large section. So you don't want to make it read like a book. Absolutely not. We want to use white space. We want to use paragraphs. We want to use bullets. That's where the emojis come in also. So make it easy. Make it like fun to read. And then you always want to put in a call to action. And when I say call to action, meaning like tell your visitors, tell your audience, tell your readers what you want them to do. So in my coaching program, I actually have a CRA about section guide and template. And it's kind of hard to really like put all of that up here on a flip chart. So I kind of gave you guys like a mini version of it. So I break it up into 5 paragraphs essentially. And in the first paragraph, you want to put it's your intro paragraph. So and remember, we want to make this intro a strong statement. So it could be something like, my name is Jasmyn and I'm on a mission to I don't know, create major impacts in the clinical research space, or I love clinical research and I'm ready to transition into my first CRA role, or I am I'm a senior clinical research coordinator, and I know being a CRA is my next step, or I was born to be a CRA, something like that. You want to make it attention grabbing. And then in the second paragraph, essentially, you want to make that a summary of your expertise, your experience, your character traits, relevant qualifications. And you want to also include a bulleted list of your accomplishments or your achievements. And I say 3 to 5. Some people, they do have a lot of accomplishments and it does exceed 5, but definitely no more than 7. But it has to truly add value and not just be like a bunch of fluff. So an achievement or accomplishment could be, and we want to try to use quantifiable things. Like, for example, successfully recruited and randomized, or recruited and enrolled 200 patients on a phase 3 global, vaccine study. What else could be a major accomplishment or achievement? That you were promoted within your company 3 times within 1 year. But list things that are relevant. And then paragraph 3, you want to capture some of your specialties. So that could be your therapeutic areas. It could be the different phases that you've worked with. It could be some of the different relevant systems that you've worked at, special patient populations like the elderly and pediatric. This is where you want to put your specialties. And then in paragraph 4, this is where you have the opportunity to really explain, to really outline why you want to be a CRA, why, what makes you a good fit to even be a CRA? Why should the company hire you for their company to be a CRA? This is where you want to put all of that information. And then in the last paragraph, that's your call to action. This is where you want to tell your visitors, tell your audience, first of all, call out who you want to talk to. So, of course, there might be some people visiting your page that you're not really speaking to them because they're not relevant to landing your first CRA job offer, right? So call out the recruiters and let them know, hey, I'm always looking to meet new recruiters, meet new clinical research professionals, increase my network. Call out who you're talking to, and then give them your contact information. I always encourage my clients to use email and phone number. Some people feel uncomfortable with phone number. So then I would say at least put your email address. So that's all we're going to cover today for the 30 over 30. And now we're going to hop into the Q&A. So I left off with some questions that I had a while back. And then I wanted to hop into, let's see. And please also put your questions in the chat too. If you have any questions for me, I want you to add all of your questions. So if I don't cover them today, I can at least cover them the next time. But so Oscar Ramirez, I think he posted this on one of the 30 over 30 days, but he said, does it matter where in the world you get your experience from? Absolutely not. Experience is experience. So even if it's volunteer experience, even if it's a non-paid internship, get it how you can get it. Courtney Magner. So she has a couple of questions. I'm an educator trying to transition into clinical research. What is the best way to get experience? I've reached out to local sites and offered my services. I'm interested in becoming a CTA to start. So I love Courtney's question. And S. Jackson, you just put your questions in the comments. The same way that you just asked me, how do you submit your question? Just put your questions there. But back to Courtney's question. So I love her question and I love her attitude and I love the way she worded everything because she said, notice guys that she's reached out to local sites and offered her services. And that's actually what I did to get my very, very, very first start. I volunteered and I did an internship as a study coordinator at a site. And going back to the previous question where you really got to get your experience wherever you can, however you can. So Courtney, you reaching out to local sites and offering your services is like, already you're on points. And then you saying that you want to become a CTA to start, again, right on point. There's three primary roles, which I call them three primary CRA gateway roles that I always recommend to people who are starting from scratch, who want to kind of build their way up into the CRA role. And the CTA role is just that role. Also, there's a study coordinator role and the in-house CRA role. So Courtney, you're off on the perfect start. And then what is the best way to get experience? You're already doing it. You're reaching out to people, to sites, you're being proactive. And also going back to the things that I've been covering, when I show up on the 30 over 30, especially, I've been really trying to focus on giving you guys branding, marketing, and selling content, because that's ultimately what's going to get you your first CRA job offer. That's going to get you your next CRA job promotion. That's going to get you from senior CRA to CTM or project manager. That's what's going to get you from, in Courtney's case, from an educator into the CTA role. Everything is going to always point back to branding, marketing, and selling yourself. And then the next question, let's see. Oh, no, I think it just repeated it twice. So I hope that was helpful, Courtney. Let me know if I answered your question. If not, shoot me another message and I can address it more the next time. So Renato's question, Renato Adriel Suarez Monroy. Does the academic degree give you an advantage in developing your clinical research career, like a master's degree? No, Renato, it actually does not. That's another common problem that I encounter with people, in that thinking that, if I get an advanced degree, then that's going to for sure help me get my first CRA job. Unfortunately, or fortunately, some might say, no, that's not the case. And a lot of people get really frustrated because they do go ahead and get the degree and then they still find themselves in the same dilemma. So of course they're frustrated. Of course they're upset, because they've invested in their time, energy, effort, money into this additional degree, and they're still right in the same spot. So if you already have a bachelor's level degree, you already have all the degrees that you need to be a CRA. Now, I'm not saying don't get an additional degree if it's in line with your goals, your long-term goals. But if you're asking, do you need an additional degree, or getting an additional degree will help you land your first CRA job offer or give you some type of advantage? No. Next question comes from April Morgan. So, where would you recommend someone to start in the clinical research field if they have no experience in clinical research but a master's degree? So again, going back to somewhat like what Renato's question just said, is that people think that an advanced degree means that they should be in like a higher level role, or that they should start in like a different place than the person that just has a bachelor's level degree, or a person that has no degree even, and just a high school diploma. And it's not the case, y'all. I have PhD friends from graduate school who reach out and they find themselves starting at the study coordinator level, even with a PhD, just because, going back to what I said a few minutes ago, that advanced degree doesn't always give you the edge that you think you're going to get. Now, there's always a way to brand, market, and sell yourself into, the role that you want. But in terms of thinking that the degree, the standalone degree, the piece of paper by itself will get you there, no. So what would I recommend to April? someone trying to start in the clinical research field, such as herself, I would recommend the same things that I recommend to everyone. And that, the three primary gateway roles: the study coordinator, the CTA, the in-house CRA roles. And it's not to say that you guys need to stay in these roles forever either. Everybody learns and grows at a different pace. So if you are a person that's going to really take advantage of your opportunity and really submerge yourself and really get as much out of it as you can be there for like 6 months and get what you need, and then start really pushing to transition into your first CRA job offer. So keep that in mind too. And then the next question comes from Eric Casper. So, how would you go about selling yourself with a recruiter about your lack of experience? So, and there's a couple more questions, but that first part, Eric, I want to stop and address that one. So, you never want to bring up potential negative things or what you don't have during an interview, during whether it's the phone screen or whether it's the actual interview where you're talking to the hiring manager. You never want to bring that up. You never want to highlight something that they might not even be looking at or thinking about, right? That might be on the top of your brain because you feel self-conscious and insecure about it, but they might not even be thinking about it until you bring it up. So instead, you want to stay focused on the things that you do have. Stay focused on the transferable skills that you have. Even if it's in another industry, you can always pull transferable skills to say, well, I haven't actually written monitoring visit reports, but I've written reports for XYZ, right? Well, I haven't actually collected such and such data or collected such and such documents, but in my role as such and such, I actually collected some other types of documents, or you had to analyze some other type of information, right? So there's always ways to really sell yourself by just showing, and you do have to show them the connection, because it's not their job to make it for you. You have to show them the connection. So that's the first part, Eric. And then the second part, I have a bachelor's degree, but I'm new to the clinical research field and focus more on bedside positions in school. So do you have a good setup for showing your transferable skills without sounding arrogant? And I do have a good setup for that. Inside of my coaching program, I have guides and protocols for being able to clearly articulate your transferable skills in a way that clearly speaks to the CRA job. And it's kind of hard to go through all of that here. But going back to the examples that I gave a few minutes ago, and when you say sounding arrogant, that also goes back to how you feel about yourself. So if you're just simply explaining what you've done and keeping it simple and keeping it clean and not going off on a tangent and keeping it relevant to the job at hand, which is a CRA job, right? That's what we're all focused on. Then you really shouldn't run any risk of sounding arrogant, because you have to clearly tell them what you've done and how it relates to the CRA job. But I think some people, just to address the arrogant part, maybe get lost because they go off on a tangent and start mentioning accomplishments and achievements and things that aren't related to the CRA role. Now, another big mistake that I also see, that I will also mention, is that people think that the interview is about themselves. And that's when you can start sounding arrogant, when you start talking about what I did and I and me and I, because the interview is about them. And I know this sounds like a crazy concept to a lot of people, but the interview is about the company, y'all. They're bringing you in to take care of their baby. So they want to see if you meet the criteria, you meet the qualifications to take care of their baby, which is the company. And so it's about them. It's about you making them feel comfortable, you showing them that you have what it takes to take care of their baby. So every question that you answer, every topic that you cover, everything that takes place from beginning to end of the whole recruitment process has to be revolved and centered around them. So that's the only time where you can really run the risk of sounding arrogant, is when you don't keep the company in mind. Now, I hope, it looks like it's saying my connection is struggling. I hope it's not. I hope y'all can still hear me. So I hope that makes sense, Eric Casper. If it doesn't, or you still have questions, just let me know. And then Ganayat Asuni. I always don't. You said I pronounced your name right the last time, and then I'm like, but did I? So let me know if I said that wrong. But your question is, I'm currently wrapping up my PharmD degree in May, but I'm finishing it hard. But I'm finding it hard to land my first CRA role. What do you advise me to do, or how to sell myself without experience? So again, going back to, you can go back to the things that you've learned in pharmacy school. And I'm not as familiar, I guess, with the things that take place in pharmacy school as like medical school, but I assume that you guys have to do some type of rotation or internship, something like that within a pharmacy. So, and then maybe it's a hospital pharmacy even, I'm not sure, but you can take that as an opportunity to say this is the experience that you have in patient interaction, or dealing with patient medical records, or dealing with drug distribution. And these are all the things that are also transferable, meaning that they're in line with the CRA role. You won't interact with patients, but having that experience helps you when it comes to looking at patient medical records, the electronic medical records. When it comes to recruiting patients, you might have to assist with recruitment as a CRA. When it comes to collecting data, when it comes to dealing with systems, if you worked in a pharmacy, you most likely had to deal with some type of drug dispensation system, showing them that you have experience with that, showing them that you have experience. If it is in a hospital setting, then that would be more of a fast-paced environment. Well, I can't even say that, because even if it's like Walgreens or Walmart, y'all know how crazy busy those pharmacies are. So working in a fast-paced environment, dealing with different customers. As a CRA, you'll not only have to deal with your internal team members, but you'll have to deal with a bunch of different departments, sometimes vendors. If you're working on the CRO side, you might have to deal with the client. So customer service skills are essential too. So those are multiple ways, Ganayat, that you could show that you have, although you don't have like specific not monitoring, it's specific clinical research experience as like a CTA or study coordinator, you can show that you have a lot of clinical experience that still would make you a strong CRA. I hope that was helpful. If I did not answer your question, let me know. And then I want to make sure I get through the questions that are in here today. Let's see. And I see S. Jackson, I'm currently a clinical research coordinator for a year and a half, currently in Texas. That's amazing experience, S. Jackson. So you're definitely ready to transition into your first CRA role as well. Adriana says, Richmond, Virginia, just finished my CRA certification with very new in this field, learning. Awesome. That's a great place to start. And then Adriana also says, how to get a job without experience, how to get the experience without the opportunity. Listen to my last 13 days where I go over a lot of brand and marketing and selling yourself. That's what it boils down to, y'all. And unfortunately, they don't teach these things in school. They don't teach these things in clinical research courses, in the training programs. Most people skip right over this. You can go get a whole degree and they never touch on career development topics. They never touch on, okay, you spend all this money, all this time, all this energy, all this effort into getting this degree, getting this piece of paper, getting this certification, and then they just leave you hanging. They leave you out to dry because they don't tell you how to actually get the job. Well, this is how, guys, you have to learn how to brand yourself, specifically as a CRA, because that's what we're working on right now, right? You want to be a CRA. If once you transition into another goal, let's say you want to be a CTM or project manager, then you shift into branding yourself for that role. But you want to brand yourself, you want to market yourself, and you want to sell yourself on the CRA role specifically. That's how you're going to get the job without the experience, Adriana. Let me know if that was helpful or if you still have questions. And then who's next? I see Walisha. So I'm seeing a lot of CRA postings asking for 3 to 5 years experience as a CRA. Are there CRA roles with no experience? Yes. And well, first two parts of the question. So the first part where you're seeing a lot with 3 to 5 years of experience, those might just be mid to senior level CRA roles. So there's entry level or CRA1 roles where it says no experience or up to 2 years of experience. Those are all, I would say, fall into the entry level category. And then the 3 to 5 would be more to the mid to the senior level. So you will tend to see more of those roles. You're right. But yes, absolutely. There are roles with no experience. Now, I have gotten a lot of comments and questions and feedback from people. Awesome, Adriana. I'm so glad that was helpful. And feel free to ask any more questions that you have. Drop them in the comments. But so back to Alicia. I see a lot of people say, yeah, but the entry level roles say 2 years of experience too. Well, my first CRA job offer was for a role whose job description said 2 years of experience as a CRA, 2 years of monitoring experience. I didn't have any monitoring experience. So again, yes, you might see that, but a lot of times there's multiple reasons why they put that, right? Number one, they get so many applications. There has to be a way to weed out the people that just blatantly aren't qualified, right? And then number two, there's extenuating circumstances. So there's always, and then number three, it goes back to branding, marketing, and selling yourself. Yes, maybe you don't have that X amount of quote unquote years that they have captured there, but when you know how to brand, market, and sell yourself, that's when you get the opportunity. So it's full circle. It's always going to go back to branding, marketing, and selling yourself. So Alicia, yes, there's definitely entry level roles out there. And then that say no experience. And then S. Jackson, as someone who has 2 years of experience at a CRO and wanting to transition to a CRA, do you think an assistant CRA role will be a good step into learning the monitoring aspect of a CRA role? So S. Jackson, I want to challenge you and ask you, why do you feel like you need a stepping stone? Why don't you feel like you're ready to be a CRA right now? Like, if someone called you today and offered you the position, do you feel like you're ready right now? Because if you have 2 years of experience at a CRO, you're ready, in my opinion. There's no way that you were just there and not, obtaining some baseline of level of, understanding and experience and expertise. So I would argue that no, I don't think it's a good step, because I think that the next step for you is to jump into a CRA role. And if you have 2 years of experience and you brand and market and sell yourself the right way, that should be very simple. Or I'm not going to say should. I've been working on eliminating should in my vocabulary, y'all. That can be very simple. I didn't say easy now, simple. And then and S. Jackson, let me know if that was helpful. And follow, and there's a delay. If you've already added another question in the comment and I haven't addressed it yet, there's a delay. Just so y'all know, I'm not ignoring you. There is a delay from when you actually comment and when I actually see it. But S. Jackson, please let me know if that was helpful. If you still have more questions, if you want to comment and chime in onto my question to you. And then next is Dana. So do CROs, okay, great. Thanks, S. Jackson, for letting me know. So Dana, do CROs provide sponsorship for CRA positions? Yes, they actually do. Now, which companies do and the situations and extenuating circumstances for when they do, I don't have the specifics or the details for you on that, but I do know of cases where there's been times where CROs provided sponsorship. But again, it's going to always go back to branding, marketing, and selling yourself, because you're going to essentially have to convince them that you're worth the sponsorship. Why should we? Because it costs money, right? It's going to cost them money to sponsor someone versus someone that's already in the country that doesn't require those extra steps. But if you can sell yourself and convince them that you are worth it, then they'll be more than happy to do it. It's all about showing them the value and showing them why this is in their best interest, so to speak. Okay. So we are already 40 minutes past, and then I tried to take up that 10 minutes to since I started out with the 30 over 30. I don't see any more questions in here today. If you have any more questions, please go ahead and put them in the comments. I want to give you guys a few more minutes to add your additional questions. And while you guys are doing that, okay, as Jackson, I see you said, I figured there was more that goes into the monitoring aspect of site visits. Being a CTC, my job is remote and don't really interact with the site besides collecting paperwork. That's perfectly fine, as Jackson. I think sometimes we think that we overthink things. I know that I did, and it's like, oh my God, I need all this experience before I can get started. There's going to be no level of experience that we think in our heads that we need that's going to truly prepare you for the CRA role better than just jumping into it. And if you've been a CTC and you've been doing all the things remotely that you've been doing, that, trust me, that's enough, because as a CRA, most of your work will be done remotely, especially post COVID. A lot of sites aren't even allowing monitors on site anymore, and that's to conduct any type of visits. It's like you have to have these special extenuating circumstances, especially for oncology. Now, there are other TAs in therapeutic areas that don't really make a big deal about it, because I know I do still have colleagues and friends that are traveling. But keeping in mind, when you're not on site, you're going to be working from home remotely, and all your visits, like I said, aren't going to be on site. So if you've been working remotely, as Jackson, then that again qualifies you even more, because you'll already be prepared to work independently. So everything that you're telling me, as Jackson, just sounds like you're ready. And then I see Kenyatta. What do you put on your resume if you have no experience? Kenyatta, what do you mean when you say no experience? Like you've never had a job ever, or you don't have any clinical research experience? And if you have had some type of job experience, even if it's non-paid, even if it's an internship, even if it's volunteer work, what types of jobs have you previously held? And while Kenyatta is adding that for me in the comments, I do want to let you guys know that I am currently accepting coaching clients for my one-on-one private coaching program. And you guys can go visit aspiringcra.com to learn. And let me see, did you put, it looks like I thought somebody else was trying to comment. Let me see. Maybe not. Okay. I'm tripping. But yeah, so I have enrollment open, and it's a 6-month coaching program where I help clinical research professional women confidently land their first CRA job offer, struggling frustration free with no monitoring experience or CRA certification. Now, the program includes an initial onboarding call where we immediately assess and revamp your resume, your cover letter, and your LinkedIn profile. You get 6 months of high-level one-on-one coaching sessions directly with me. You get an on-demand curriculum, immediately access to an on-demand curriculum filled with the frameworks, the templates, and the checklist, all the things that I talk about and more for you to land your first CRA job offer. You also get direct messaging support with me so that you can contact me outside of the weekly coaching calls. You'll get a bonus mock interview with a recruiter. You get bonus courses on negotiating a high-paying offer and fast-tracking your career once you land your first CRA job. And then you also get a bonus CRA career plan. And then there's other things included in the mentorship in the program as well. And right now, because of the, the Thanksgiving holidays, I'm also adding on an extra 3 coaching sessions to the package. So if you're interested, like I said, you can visit aspiringcra.com to learn more. And then you can also book a, where did I just, the whole page just went off, y'all. Where is it? There it goes. I hope y'all can still see me. I just did something and then like the whole thing went off. But visit aspiringcra.com to learn more, and you can also book a sales call with me there. So Kenyatta says clinical research experience. What to put on your resume if you have no clinical research experience? You put all your other experience. So that's why I wanted to, Kenyatta, for you to let me know what other types of jobs have you held, so that I could maybe give you some more feedback on how to structure that. But all of your other experience, any other jobs that you've had, whatever that may be, even though, because I get this too, a lot of people are like, well, I don't have clinical research experience, so I don't have a resume. No, you have a resume if you have any type of experience. It's not just about you capturing clinical research experience, because going back to what I've said for some of several of the questions that we've gone through, and that it's all about branding, marketing, and selling yourself. So if you can sell them on your transferable skills in your other roles, then that's all you need. But any type of experience can help you show that, okay, you're qualified for the position. So Kenyatta, please list some of your, and you know what, I'm gonna reach out to you separately when we get off, but let's see, court and county government jobs. Okay. So there's definitely some transferable skills. I have never held a court or county government position, but I'm certain there hasn't. Let me put it this way: there hasn't been a job yet that somebody has come to me with that I wasn't able to pull out some transferable skills that showed that that you would make a good CRA or clinical research professional. Let's put it that way. So I'm sure that I could pull some out there. I would need a little bit more information though to give you some examples. So I will reach out to you separately. But again, tomorrow I will be continuing with the 30 over 30. It's November 14th now. So we'll be on day 15 tomorrow. And so join me. You can join me live every day. I don't have a set time for the 30 over 30. I've been joining later in the day. So that seems to be the sweet spot for me. Even though I try to join earlier, it's usually like 8 or 9 at night. But if you do follow me and you click the notification bell on LinkedIn or YouTube, then you'll get notified when I go live so you won't miss it. And please feel free to continue to send me your questions. You can DM me your questions. You can drop them in the comments of the meeting invite. So next week, same time, Monday, and you can drop the questions in there. You can, like I said, send them to me directly. You can drop questions even on the 30 over 30 post. But wherever you put the questions, I'm collecting them and I will get you an answer. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I really appreciate you. Hopefully you were able to learn something today, and I will see you, some of you tomorrow, but otherwise next week.